Hello everyone, welcome to Global Government News. Today is August 3rd, 2010, and I am Darko. In this video, we're going to be covering the recent news with Iraq, Israel, and Lebanon, and Iran. So this first article is what I covered yesterday, but it ties in with today's article about the war on Iraq, ending. We're pulling out, right? It gives you the illusion that that there was a sense of success and accomplishment and that we're just going to move on. That's how it's going to be in Afghanistan, right? This is from August 2nd, 2010. It says, Obama boost end of Iraq war. Just as promised, like he said, as promised, on schedule. As Iran war kicks into high gear. So you see, they're starting another war as they end one war. And it's all the same war. It's just war on terror, liberty, sovereignty. And it says, an attempt to posture as a man of peace and of kept promises in the lead up to the midterm elections, President Obama has declared the end of the war in Iraq, claiming that the withdrawal of troops from Iraq will be completed by August 31st, 2010, and is, quote, on schedule as promised. I know, that really made me almost want to laugh, except for the amount of people that have died in the name of this war. It's just not really all that funny anymore. But it says, in quote, as a candidate for president, I've pledged to bring the war on Iraq, sorry, I'm quoting him, so I might as well say what he said, war in Iraq to a responsible end. I made it clear that by August 31st, 2010, America's combat mission in Iraq would end. And that is exactly what we are doing, as promised and on schedule, President Barack Obama stated. Believing this fiction involves ignoring the fact that 50,000 troops or more, as well as countless contractors, would remain in Iraq. In addition, it would involve forgetting about Barack Obama's campaign promises to bring troops home starting day one of his administration, which was, January 2009, or his other promises to bring them home by the end of 2009. It says Obama's deceptive announcement coincides with news that July was the deadliest month in Iraq since 2008, and also Afghanistan actually was also the deadliest month too. So it says the conflict with Iraq, an effort that, if successful, will stretch indefinitely into an ongoing strategic partnership. But Iraq is neither the only example nor an anomaly. I always have trouble with that word. The American commitment to Afghanistan in its 9th year in disengagement is likely to be many years away. I think we all remember John McCain, who said that it would be a 100-year war, right? Take 100 years. He was also the same person that said bomb Iran, so I think there's some truth. So then it's not surprising to see AP pieces like this titled, I saw this on Yahoo, departing U.S. troops pack millions of items in Iraq. They're packing up and going home, guys. Everything from helos to printer cartridges is being wrapped and stamped and shipped out of Iraq. U.S. military bases that once resembled small towns have transformed into a cross between giant post offices and office depots. Soldiers who battled through insurgents and roadside bombs are now doing inventory and accounting. Their task reversed over the course of months, a U.S. military presence that built up over 7 years of occupation, slaughter, killing, murder. We're moving out millions of pieces of equipment in one of the largest logistic operations that we've seen in decades. President Barack Obama said in a speech Monday hailing this month's planned withdrawal of U.S. combat troops from Iraq. I mean, it's such bullshit, right? They didn't accomplish the fucking mission, and now they're just gonna do what they said they're not gonna do. They're gonna pull out, right? But they're not gonna really pull out. See, that's why it's all just a mind trip. Because they're not going to actually pull out. They're just going to give the illusion and do the PR stuff to give the appearance that they're pulling out, right? With that nice little sexual language that they use. But they're not pulling out because, they stopped terrorism. They're pulling out because they're done with them. They've occupied them. They've destabilized the country, and they have all their foreign investors in there with their little companies and corporations making and profiting off of all of this. So it is a success for the military-industrial complex. And so that's why they turned towards Afghanistan with their opium trade. And now they found, well, they didn't just find it, the Russians found it, but that's why maybe we were there. The rich minerals that were found in Afghanistan. And so now we'll be heading into Iran and Pakistan. Mullen says U.S. has Iran strike plan just in case. I posted this yesterday, just good to put in there in case you missed it. Says U.S. military has a plan to attack Iran, the chairman of Joint Chiefs of Staff said Sunday, although he thinks a military strike is probably a bad idea. He said not long after Admiral Mullins aired on Sunday talk show, the deputy chief of Iran's Revolutionary Guard was quoted as saying there would be a strong Iranian response should the U.S. take military action against the country. And actually, Iran said this before Sunday. I posted a video like a week ago where they were saying this because it was the director of the CIA was saying that they were going to attack them. So, okay, so you got some background. Here you go. Israel-Lebanon border clash kills 5. Guys, this is what I've been talking about, right? For the past 2 weeks now. I said that it's going to be what? Syria and Lebanon and Israel, Iran, and Pakistan. Those countries, Pakistan, Iran, Lebanon, but mostly Pakistan and Lebanon. And that's exactly what we're seeing in the news. At least 3 Lebanese soldiers and 1 senior Israeli army officer have been killed after the 2 sides exchanged fire along their border. Yeah, Israel attacked them. Like they've been having spies over there and everything else. Several other Lebanese and Israeli soldiers were also injured in fighting on Tuesday, according to Lebanese media. The violence broke out after Israeli troops entered Lebanese territory. Officials in Beirut said Israel has reportedly used phosphorus bombs in the attack, and the soldiers launched several rockets near the southern Lebanese village of Adisia. If I mispronounced that, please correct me. Sorry about that. An unnamed source reported that Israeli warplanes fired 2 rockets on the hills of Adisia. A Lebanese journalist from Al-Akhbar newspaper was also killed in the fighting, a Press TV correspondent reported. Israel's foreign ministry claimed in a statement it held the Lebanese government responsible for the serious incident. And it said, warning of possible consequences if the violence continued. So, of course, Israel attacks them, then says, well, you're responsible for us attacking you. Typical doublethink. Meanwhile, Lebanon's president emphasized that any violation of the Lebanese territory by the Tel Aviv regime is a breach of the UN Resolution 1701, which ended Israel's war on Lebanon in 2006. And as sanctions tighten on Iran to do business, Iran and Venezuela to form joint oil firm. They're also working with the Japanese, they're working with the Brazilians, they're working with anyone that they can because they have embargoes and sanctions and everything else, including gas imports and banking and then defense. It says a top Iranian oil official speaks of a fresh round of talks between Iran and Venezuela, saying the 2 sides have agreed to set up a joint oil shipping company. And the only reason I cover that stuff is because it's good to kind of keep track of that stuff, because as a war builds up, there's all kinds of moves and alliances being formed, especially when it pertains to natural resources and oil to fund that machine, right? So, U.S. aims to tighten sanctions grip on Iran. This is from August 3rd, 2010. U.S. Treasury Department on Tuesday sought to further tighten curbs against Iran's nuclear ambitions and its support for terror groups by naming Iranian-controlled companies and forbidding dealing with them. So, and these include Japanese companies, like I said. So, and of course, from Press TV, Tehran decries aggression on Lebanon, vehemently condemned the recent Israeli aggression against South Lebanon, which left several Lebanese service members killed. So, you had the plane crash, and then you have these bad storms. And the plane crashes due to the bad storms. You had the WikiLeaks pointing towards Pakistan. And all of a sudden, you had the plane crash, these bad storms. I think they sprayed the hell out of them, but it's the worst floods in history. And now you have what is the Middle East on the brink of another war. So there you go. They're just letting you know. And it says Saudi Arabia and Syria try to douse Lebanon's next fire. We have this story. Twin blasts kill 30 and wound 80 in Iraq. This is from today. Taliban claims U.S. base raid killing 150 in Afghanistan. So thank you for joining me. And please check out the other videos that I'll be posting later on today. Thanks.